broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets regular, the boats bursting in out, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday night. Had a little bit of that happy birthday writ from last week. Kind of maybe forgot to shut that one down. We'll get rid of that right now. Hey, Rick, happy birthday, 7 days belated. Congratulations on making it around the sun one more time. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing you the Racing for a Cause Super Late Model West Coast Championship event. And tonight we've got Al Smith Jr. as tonight's race sponsor. We're going to get him up here real quick and see if we can get a word in with him. He's sponsoring the race tonight. I'd like to speak with him. We'll get him on up here. He's the driver of the number 96. It's Al Smith Jr. Al, this is Chris and Rick. Up in the booth, do you have a copy?
I got you guys. How are you?
Doing okay. A little bit of a head cold tonight, Al, but we're going to get right through this one. No problem at all. First of all, want to thank you for sponsoring tonight's race, man. I really do appreciate it, and I'm sure the rest of Racing for a Cause does as well. Why don't you go ahead and talk to us about tonight's cause?
Yeah, well, first of all, are you sure it's not a jet lag over a head cold? We are on the West Coast.
We are on the West Coast, and honestly, Al, I've been home for about not even 40 minutes yet from work. So, yeah, I'm a little tired, but we're going to get right through this one.
Yeah, no, thanks. Yeah, tonight's race, the osearch.org 150. A lot of people probably don't know I'm a nerd about sharks and love sharks, and osearch, they're pretty much a data-centric organization that's a bunch of scientists that are just collecting data, trying to get our oceans back to a balance that where it should be, because at one point there was we were a little bit low on different species of sharks and whatnot. And between their research, we've been able to attain a lot of data and, more importantly, education. So, yeah, sharks are scary, but they're also very important, and they're not always scary, and man eaters and whatnot. So they, if you go on their website, you can track and see how many they got, like 416 mammals tagged from turtles to sharks to whales and all over the spectrum and from the ocean. It's kind of cool, and it's worldwide and throughout and then the U.S. and just something a little bit different this year, and I thought it'd be kind of cool. And we got to beat that orca whale there for free the tanks that AJ Hamill's running.
Well, yeah, that's true. And, sharks, a small part of a very large ecosystem. So congratulations on finding something a little bit different. And that is quite different, actually. But hey, listen, we've got a little bit of time. Thank you for talking about that, by the way, osearch.org. If you want some more information, check out the link in the description of this video. But let's talk a little bit here, Al. You're right now 11th in the speed charts. The track to me seems like if you can't go to the high side, very close to that wall, you're not going to have a good night here tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of, well, for me anyways, I'm finding it where there's like a fine line. Like there's let's use a dirt term, I guess, a cushion. And I'm feeling like if you can, when you're running the outside, it's invisible, but like once you jump it, you kind of just slide and you lose all front grip, which is really key here, because you got to get the car in to get it to pivot and get off of the corners with good speed. And I think you're going to see the bottom come in, because at some point we're all going to be around the top and nose to tail, and you either going to drive through somebody, which I think the admins don't like to see here. So I expect to see the bottom, maybe like the line just below the bottom, to come in a little bit, especially as the track heats up. And it's funny because right now it's overcast, and we do get a little bit more grip out of the track when it's overcast. It'll be interesting to see if the clouds stay, or if we're going to get a little bit more sunshine when we get here in the heat races in about 4 minutes. But should put on a pretty good show, because you can get loose. There's plenty of wheel spin, so you're definitely gonna have some possibilities of passing based on some wheel spin off the corner, that if guys get in the gas a little bit too hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And then with that overcast that you're talking about, track temperature right now, a really nice 79 degrees. Air temperature a little cooler, so that might help a little bit as you start heading out on track to finish out your practice run. Don't want to keep you from that, Al. I want to thank you once again for sponsoring tonight's race, man. We really do appreciate it.
No problem. And as it is October, it's breast cancer awareness, and if you can see the side numbers, we got our pink sharks inside the number 96. So hopefully we'll give them a good ride as here. But yeah, it's a little bit the grip level with the temperature definitely gives you a little bit more grip, but the car will definitely step out on you if you don't watch it. So it should be a pretty good race, and the heat races should be fairly good, and we got a good championship battle. So hopefully everybody that's watching and tuning in is ready to see potential champ AJ Hamill and my teammate Brian Hacker with going head to head, and I think Rex Hoyle. So hopefully Blue Oval beats out those Tonka toys that Toyota brings to the track here.
Amen. Amen. Hey, Al, why don't we do something really cool here? We're going to hop into your cockpit. Why don't you take us around this track and kind of give us a feedback on what you're thinking, when you're thinking it, when you're in and out of throttle, on the brakes. Why don't you go through a whole lap here with us? We'll wait till you cross the start-finish line before we hop into your 96.
All right, sounds good. Right. Just coming off turn 4 right now at the start-finish line, and I'm trying to get on the chip a little bit with the gearing, and then once I get on there, that's kind of where I get let off point, and then try to coast it in and let it rotate through the corner as we got the 76 behind us. But just kind of searching for grip right now. It feels a little bit greasy up on the outside of the track there, and I kind of missed it right there. I can feel where the front end just kind of kept washing up. But if you run down here towards the bottom and a little bit more grip, so we'll see. Maybe we'll be a bottom feeder here and get to the front if we're starting out back. Watch for us to do something with that.
All right, bud. Hey, thank you so much for taking us around the track, man. Really do appreciate that. Pretty cool. Right there out of the number 96 of Al Smith Jr. Al, thank you again, bud.
No problem, guys. Enjoy the broadcast.
Absolutely.
Good luck, bro.
And that was the driver of the number 96, Al Smith Jr., tonight's race sponsor. Can't thank him enough. And he had mentioned, Rick, the point standings. Let's bring those up right now because, man, oh, man, it is tight. A.J. Hamill on top with 205 points behind him. Just 4 points behind him, Brian Hacker. Rex Hoyle sitting in third. Chris Stump in fourth. Matthew Spinks running in the top 5. Al Smith just outside. He's running sixth. And Matt Vade, he's sitting in seventh. Justin Rigsby, Andrew Hill, Dylan Blankenship rounding out that top 10. On the other side, we've got James McIntyre Jr. Ryan Nolan has worked his way up to 12th. Remember, he didn't even start the first few races, all the way up to 12th already now. James Somke running in 13th. Mark Farvert in 14th. Roger Holtzclaw, Hilton Young, Andy Lambert, Justin McDuff, Mike Holtzclaw, and Doug Wasaki. And Rick, that is just starting the first half of this series because, again, tonight is the championship event for the West Coast portion.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, next week we're going to be off, and then we're going to start over. I mean, everyone's going to be traveling over to the East Coast, Chris, to hit up USA. And I love how they're doing this, as we're getting ready for heat race number 1. And, body. Remember
that's right. We talked about that, didn't we?
It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Listen, that O-Search, man, before this thing gets going, I don't know, you probably haven't checked out that website, but when I first saw it, I was putting in all the descriptions for the races here. I was like, what the heck is this, man? I have been glued to this website because it is really cool to see all the different sharks and everything that they track, man. It is a ball to sit there and watch those things and how they go.
That's pretty cool. I will check that one out right after this event. But first, we've got heat race number 1. And heat race number 1 brings a few names to the table. How about 9 of them? Wayne McDuff III, sitting in his 413 on the pole tonight. Travis Wright in the 10 to his outside. Starting on the second row, it's going to be Hilton Young. In his number 38, Chris Stump in the 98 to his outside. Justin Rigsby starting in 5th. Matt Vadi starting in 6th spot. Dylan Blankenship in his 51. 7th spot. Douglas Wasaki in 8th. And Matthew Spinks picking up shotgun on the field for heat number 1.
Big names out here, Chris, and I love this heat racing, man. This heat racing is so much fun. It brings a whole nother level to this thing. You see, you talked about Rigsby. Rigsby's back out there, kind of in the same paint scheme that he's usually in. He's got the water.org on there, but on that beautiful hood. Still bringing the cause from last week. Of course, he's got Dirty Mo, media on the back too. So you gotta get a big thing about that. But on that hood, man, the pregnancy infant loss awareness month, he's still supporting that here through October. So awesome to see. Outstanding paint schemes by these guys.
Always. I love this league. I love everybody involved with it and its fans. Thank you so much for coming out tonight and watching a little action here from Irwindale Speedway as the pace car drops down on, and we are getting ready to go to the green flag. Wayne McDuff III bringing up the cars through turns 3 and 4, getting ready to go, waiting for that green flag. It's out. The 413 hits the go button.
Yeah, McDuff wasting no time, Chris, and you can see he just starts pulling away, but he gets up towards that wall a little bit, and that just allows Travis Wright to catch right up.
We got the 10 going around, Rick. He's trying to save it. He does somehow, and they stack up in the middle of the field. Heat 1, bringing action already. The 51 getting loose.
The 8 body. Oh, no.
Everybody trying to figure it all out. Matthew Spinks, heavy damage to the right front. Meanwhile, Wayne McDuff III starting to really pour it on here. Chris Stump trying to catch him. Stump running in second spot in his number 98. Stump running a slightly higher line than the 413 of Wayne McDuff. 13 laps to go in heat race number 1.
And, I think these guys are kind of playing, especially Stump, he's playing it smart now. We went around with Al Smith, and he said that top is a little greasy up there. But we're seeing a lot of drivers trying to run up there. They're trying to put that rubber down there. So that way during the race, Chris, they might open up another line there because, you know, it gets kind of boring if you're just playing follow the leader on the inside there. So these guys doing a great job. Stump takes over the lead there from McDuff.
Yeah.
Stump looking to have a good night here tonight.
Yeah, Stump leads that lap. We are down to 10 laps to go here in heat race number 1. Third place belonging to Travis Wright in that 10. We saw him get a little loosey-goosey there, and the damage to the right front really showing it off. Rigsby sitting in 4th spot. Dylan Blankenship in 5th. Vadi has worked his way back up in the 6th spot. Matthew Spinks has worked his way into 7th. Doug Wasaki on pit road. Hilton Young is 2 laps down in his heat, but he is back out on track trying to make some well, maybe some calculations as to how better to get around this track in that number 38.
Well, you know, you spend a little time, you figure out, I mean, this is the time to do it. I mean, you can do it in practice too. Guys just try to find their line, but now, you know, these cars are kind of sucked up into each other. They're able to maybe follow the leader a little bit, trying to find out what way. I mean, right now, that fastest lap is being held by Mr. Stump himself. On lap number 2, a 17.12.
I don't know what you're laughing about there, Rick.
I don't know either.
Yeah, Chris Stump up front. Wayne McDuff, the third, has doing a good job. The 413 has had a couple of rough races this season, but he is hanging tough right now in 2nd spot. Travis Wright in 3rd. A little bit of a battle going on here for 4th spot between Rigsby and Blankenship. Their 2 were a little bit closer during the last corner, and here comes Blankenship to the inside, trying to see if he can make that work. The 99 able to hold them off. Outside line just a little bit quicker right now than that inside line, but it is a little more slippery. You see the 99 kind of wiggle as he was crossing the start finish line, so it's a big slip because he came out of 4 wiggling and still just a little bit of wiggle coming across the start finish line. Enrique, I appreciate that, and I agree 100%. The 51 doing a good job on that inside. He is making it work. Blankenship right to the inside of the 99 of Rigsby. 3 laps to go.
They're going to go down quick, and I definitely want to take a moment just to thank everybody out there watching on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Linda, we see you out there. We knew you're going to be here. Hopefully you're doing well on this Wednesday. Enrique, good luck tonight in your heat and during the race. We love you guys chatting it up.
Absolutely. That is one of my favorite things to see, as we have the white flag for your race leader, or the heat leader rather, as Chris Stump in the 98. He's coming out of turn number 4. Should be a victory here for heat race number 1. The 98 takes it.
And a little bit of race going on there for 2nd place. Wayne McDuff, the 3rd, takes it in that 413. Chris Travis Wright, 3rd. Dylan Blankenship, 4th. Justin Rigsby, Matthew Spinks, Matt Vadi, Hilton Young, Doug Wysocki rounding out heat number 1. Now we get these cars ready for heat race number 2 here, Chris. They're going to be gridding up. We got some good names here. We got Mike Holsclaw going to be starting out on the pole here on heat number 1 in that 22 machine. Colin Allman starting 2nd. Row number 2 is going to consist of AJ Rogers in that 17 machine. Brian Hacker in the 11 going to be starting 4th. Andy Lambert in the 72 going to be starting 5th. Roger Holtzclaw in the 23 6th. Mark Pravert in the 44 7th. Andrew Hill in 8th position, and rounding out the field, Enrique Torres in that 76 machine.
All right. Gonna be a good heat number 2. Looking forward to this one. I look forward to all of them. What the heck am I talking about?
Definitely. Now Enrique's in there in chat giving us a last minute. Great rule book, great drivers. Yeah, man, Chris and I, obviously, there's a big, huge soft spot here for Racing for a Cause in both our hearts, and we enjoy it, man. Good luck out there.
Colin Allman doesn't look like he is taking the start here for heat race 2. So the field shuffles around just a little bit. AJ Rogers going to move up into 3rd spot. The 11 of Brian Hacker moves up to the outside front row. And Brian Hacker, just 4 points behind AJ Hamill tonight, would love to try and win this heat. Get a really good starting spot here tonight.
I mean, this is the championship race here tonight. So unlike all the other ones, there's only one pit stop here for tires, Chris.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting
And that
to
is
see.
it.
Yeah.
That's going to be huge. I mean, usually, I mean, you know, yes and no. I mean, it is a longer race, 150 laps here tonight. So, you know, guys are definitely going to be using that. Usually we see a lot of these drivers, they'll just go around and have no problems going through the whole race with just one set of tires. But definitely a good thing about it. I mean, championship race, man, this is going to be awesome.
Green flag drops, and the front runners wasting no time to get on that loud pedal. The 11 of Brian Hacker has a little momentum coming out of turn 2, down the backstretch into turn 3. Hacker looks like he may take the lead early on here. Now a battle for second between Mike Holtzclaw and AJ Rogers. Rogers in the 17 to the outside takes it over. The 22 Holtzclaw moves up to try and stop Andy Moore from coming through. Meanwhile, right behind them, the 72 of Andy Lambert. He's stuck down on the inside. The 23 trying to work his way around. That's Roger Holtzclaw. The 77 of Andrew Hill making it 3 wide. Too tight. Oh, the 23 goes around the 77. Goes on the hood. Caution out in heat number 2. We'll go back and take a look. The 77 trying to get aggressive and work his way up towards the front. Ends up on the hood of that vehicle, or on the roof rather. 3 wide here at Irwindale. That just doesn't work.
That's a big set of kahunas, you know what I'm saying? To bring it there.
Yes, sir. So Hill finds himself down pit road. Actually, he's still out there. Roger Holtzclaw not so lucky, unfortunately. Holtzclaw on pit road.
Now, the good news is he's going to have a fresh car here come the actual race. Now, one thing we haven't really talked about, Kristen, the track temps are kind of moving around. Last heat, it was at 77. Now it's at 74 degrees. So plenty of grip out there tonight, especially when those guys rubber in that top lane. We're going to see some good racing.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, Brad, you didn't have to do that, man. Good to see you. And yeah, I'm excited about that too, man. I'm not really a big short track person, but that is pretty cool. And to know that, you know, Dale Jr. had a big part of that. Word on the street, and now this is just rumor, but he is actually paying to have iRacing, because I mean it's about what did we talk about, Chris? I mean, we talked about it before.
It's expensive, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 50,000 or something like that just to have them come out and laser scan, and that's not guaranteed that it's going to get on the service.
No,
so
I'm
50 grand for a small track.
So happy that they're at least going out scanning that legendary track of North Wilkes-Barre, and they have the option.
No, Nashville Fairground.
Yeah, I mean it's just it. Put it on the service. Don't just scan it. Put it on the service. Let's race that thing. So many awesome races happen there.
Not North Wilkes-Barre. Don't get people.
Yeah, I know.
They're working on that though. Dale Jr.'s trying to push that. Yeah, it's hard.
He has
so
been
many
pushing
different
that
ones.
one. Yeah.
That's the thing, man. That's the greatest thing about iRacing, man. I mean, you can go out there. I mean, I know NASCAR 2003 when I was racing that actually with Dale Earnhardt Jr. before people got all excited about him. He actually had a league on there, and it was pretty cool. And you know, we raced. Yeah, we raced a lot, even on Thunder Road. And you know, it would be nice to have a lot of these smaller tracks, especially the ones that are kind of decaying and closed up, you know, in the service, so that way people could still enjoy it, even though they might not be able to see a live race there anymore. So,
oh, absolutely, bring on Thunder Road. I would love that.
Oh man.
Brian Hacker, your race leader. AJ Rogers in the 17, running in second. Mike Holtzclaw third, Andy Lambert fourth, Mark Farvert fifth, Enrique Torres hanging out in sixth spot, and Roger Holtzclaw bringing up the tail end of the field. Andrew Hill decided, you know, I don't need to race the rest of this heat race. Pace car drops down, getting set to put the super late models back under full speed.
I don't think you're live, bro. We're already going, man. We only got 6 laps left to go. Hackers is blowing away.
Look at that. You're right.
Okay. It's okay. It's been a long day, bro. It's been a good day. It's been a good day. Lots of fun, lots of laughs. Look at Rogers. He is really trying to make that inside lane work, peaking a little bit there. But right now, Brian Hacker, he is the man of the hour. He's just he's got that 11. It's going to be real interesting to see. Now we got to talk to him a couple times the last couple of weeks there, coming in, getting the Eagle Freedom project up there, and he's doing it again here in this heat race number 2 right now. We got 4 laps left.
Yeah, Brian Hacker on fire the last few weeks, man. He is definitely set to try and take away the West Coast Championship away from AJ Hamel. He's just 4 points behind Hamel right now, Rick, and that is huge.
That is huge. Well, I mean, it's not huge. It's 4 points.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, okay, yeah. I guess
but it's just close racing, man. It's just, I mean, Enrique hit the nail on the head as Rogers peaks on the inside again. You know, this is one of the better series on iRacing, man. I mean, obviously a little prejudice maybe because this is our league that, you know, we helped started, and, you know, I don't know. RFC, we'll do anything for RFC, baby.
Absolutely. Your top 3 right now, Brian Hacker, AJ Rogers, and the 72 of Andy Lambert. So Lambert having a really good heat race here as we are on the final lap, working turns 3 and 4, and Brian Hacker looks like he is going to take this one away. A battle for second spot, and Rogers ends up keeping that one. So your winner, Brian Hacker for Heat 2.
Yeah, then we got Rogers, Lambert, Holtzclaw. This goes down. Now we're getting ready for heat race number 3.
And the names keep coming. Alex Papini in the 39, going to be on the pole, though he hasn't gridded yet. James McIntyre Jr. on the outside, starting in 3rd spot. It's going to be the 54 of Rex Hoyle, Al Smith Jr. Tonight's race sponsor in the 96, starting in 4th. Zach Cold Beer Coyer going to be starting in 5th spot in his number 15. Ryan Nolan in the 87 going to start 6th. AJ Hamel coming into tonight, your points leader, starting in 7th spot. And James Somke has shotgun position.
Kind of interesting so far. Papini in the 39 has not taken the grid, Chris. These guys are already going around with the Ford Mustang. Thank you, KR.
Wow.
And this is going to be good, though. It's going to be interesting. Rex Hoyle starting here, technically going to be in 2nd position. Actually, right now he's going around in 1st. I don't know. There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, he's
but AJ Hamel's got some work to do here.
Yeah, Hamel has to do something pretty spectacular here in this 7 miles of heat racing. This track only about a half a mile, Rick, so it's very, very short. And man, I you know what? I like this track.
Yeah, you gotta add just a little bit more to me, but you know, it's all good.
Yeah. Pace car off. The 54 of Rex Hoyle assumes the lead. The 81 looking to try and take it away. That's James McIntyre Jr. on the outside. And here we go. Green flag in the air for lap number 1. It's a side-by-side battle still. Going into the corner, the 81 looks like he's going to try and take it. He does on the outside. The 54, Rex Hoyle, working that bottom lane, trying to figure it out. Al Smith Jr. and Cold Beer Coyer trying to figure out who's going to take 3rd. The 96 absolutely trying to hold on to it, and he takes it away. Al Smith Jr. into 3rd spot. The 15 stuck to the inside. Here comes the 87 of Ryan Nolan. Nolan running that outside lane, and the 18 of AJ Hamel is following him.
And, you know, it's funny because we haven't really put down a lot of laps on that outside lane, Chris, but it's really starting to rubber in. Those guys are really, really racing it. And it's very, very racy up there, so they're having a lot of fun. I mean, they got to worry about the wall a little bit, set up for the corners. But these guys, they got it all figured out now. That inside lane ain't doing much.
Yeah, Al Smith said the outside lane's the place to want to be, but you got to be careful up there. It's a little slippery, and as these guys get around this track, it's going to rubber in, and we might see a couple of lanes of action. And right now, we've seen all the action we can muster because James McIntyre Jr. in the 81 up front. Rex Hoyle, Al Smith Jr. top 3. Ryan Nolan sitting in 4th spot. He's right behind Al Smith. Cold Beer Coyer back to 5th spot in his number 15. A little bit of a battle right now with AJ Hamel. Cold Beer stuck on that inside, and that is not the preferred lane here, at least during the heat races. So AJ Hamel makes his way around the 15, finally gets to that top side. We'll see if he's able to get back up towards the front here with just 9 laps to go. He cuts down to the inside lane, and he's got to woe it up a lot to stay there. So the 15 going to learn right now the upside lane is where you want to be. Back up front, it's the 81 of James McIntyre Jr. He has led them all here so far, and Rex Hoyle trying to figure out a way to catch him. Meanwhile, Al Smith Jr. in third spot, maybe finding a little bit of pressure here from the 87 of Ryan Nolan.
And man, Nolan is just going crazy up there on that top lane right now. The 96 Al Smith takes over third, but it doesn't last long. I mean, these guys are kind of drag. Ooh, Ryan Nolan bounces off the wall just a little bit.
Yeah, it gets a little tight there.
Yeah, he is just right up against that wall, though. I mean, there's not a lot of room, so when he does bounce off, it's not too terrible, but...
One of the things I love about RFC, Rick, is the ability to have met a couple of guys here. Of course, we met Al Smith and AJ Hamill over at Thunder Road, and that was a really pleasant day last year. This community's so tight, such a pleasure to be a part of it. And now from the other side, from the broadcast booth, the 87 of Ryan Nolan, Vermont's own, working that outside line. And Al Smith really doing a good job on that inside line, really holding on. And that's about the first time we've seen that happen. So that inside line starting to rubber up a little bit. Oh, gosh, those guys are close.
Wow.
Very
crazy.
close. There's a lot of trust right there.
Well, you know, these guys have been racing next to each other, Chris, for a very, very long time. I mean, it doesn't seem like it has been as long as it really has as we hit the final lap here. James McIntyre Jr. going to be winning heat race number 3. But, I mean, these guys have so much respect for each other out on the track. It's just amazing. They've raced with each other, so,
Man,
you know, that's the kind of good stuff that we get to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Nolan able to take over third right at the line. So Ryan Nolan finishes in the top 3. And that brings us to warm-up, Rick. So we're going to step away for just a moment, get our wits about us. And these guys are going to hit the track for about 5 minutes and see what they can figure out. They definitely, a couple of guys have a few things to figure out here. It's going to be interesting to see where this all ends up. We've got a huge field again here tonight for Racing for a Cause. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't strapped on yet, prepare to. This half-mile track of Irwindale Speedway going to bring a lot of action. We're going to be right back.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
And here we are. We've got just a little bit more time here left in practice, about a minute 45.
Minute 45, and we have a new guy that's out there, Chris, right now with the fastest lap. That's AJ Rogers in that 17 machine with a 16.816. Now that's very fast, man. I mean, and the track temperature going down a little bit, 73 degrees. Air temperature is holding steady at that 67. Light wind today, 2 miles per hour out of the north right now. Mr. Foster, we see you out there. Good to see you, Sam. You got Mark's old riff, man. Hey, but it's a new riff to Sam, so that's all that matters, man. You're gonna love it. If you haven't raced in VR yet, you are in for such a treat. It's gonna take a little bit getting used to. I will let you know that if you are prone to like motion sickness or anything, the best thing that I can say for you to do is you go out, do a solo test, do a few laps. When you start feeling queasy, park the car, take off the VR headset till you start feeling better, and then just work yourself back into it, man. You're gonna have, listen, my VR, the only thing, Chris yells at me for this too, the only thing that I do with my VR, like literally, is I will do meditation, because I do have that app. Use it specifically for racing. Yeah, the stuff that you see in iRacing, and that is it. I haven't really done much, even triples. When Chris came over, when I first got my Rift, you know, he just bought all brand new triple screens, had them all set up, and even he said, he's like, wow, and he ordered his right then and there. So it's definitely the way to go. You get so much immersion. You can see things that, you know, you can't really pick out even with 3 screens. It's just amazing.
All right, Rick, you don't have to kill any more time. I'm back just in time.
But I'm good at it, man.
Well, it's a championship race, Rick, and I had to grab a couple more malted beverages to get through it. This head cold not going to stop us here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to go through the grid. We've got 2 laps to get through this one, Rick, and we've got on the pole tonight the number 98. That's Chris Stump. To his outside, the number 11. Sitting in second place into the points here tonight, it's Brian Hacker. In third place tonight, it's going to be James McIntyre Jr. in his 81. To his outside, Wayne McDuff III. Starting in fifth tonight, it's going to be the 17 of AJ Rogers, Rex Hoyle. To his outside. In seventh place belongs to Travis Wright and his number 10, Andy Lambert. Going to be starting in 8th place out of his number 72. Ryan Nolan going to start in 9th spot tonight. Dylan Blankenship in 10th. And you've got Mike Holtzclaw in the 22, along with tonight's sponsor, Al Smith Jr. starting in 12th and his Ford Mustang in 12th spot. Justin Rigsby going to start in 13th place tonight. Enrique Torres going to start in 14th. And Rick starting in 15th spot, it's going to be AJ Hamill with Matthew Spinks.
And then in 17th, Mark Braber in the 44. Next to him, Zach Coldbeer Coyer in that 15, going to be starting 18th, Chris. 19th position belongs to the number 8 of Matt Votty. Roger Holtzclaw coming in 20th. We got James Somke in the 21st. Hilton Young in the 38, 22nd. Alan Allman is going to be starting the 67 and 23rd. Alex Papini in the 39, going to be starting 24th. And rounding out that field is going to be the 45 of Doug Wysocki in 25th position.
And we are under green. Chris Stump, Brian Hacker having a battle already. Brian Hacker on the outside, taking a bit of an advantage here on the 98. Brian Hacker trying desperately to stay at least 4 points ahead of AJ Hamill here tonight. And right now, he took over the race lead tonight. We've only got 1 pit spot for tires. We're doing 70 miles here on this half-mile track, getting ready for some exciting action. We're going to crown a West Coast champion here tonight, give us a week off, come back for the East Coast Championship.
Yeah, starting that out at USA, that's going to be amazing, Chris. But right now, we got to finish up the West Coast, man. And it's kind of sad because, it's getting colder on the East Coast. I kind of like this West Coast weather. Sam, I do, actually. I really do believe that Brian Hacker is going to win tonight. He is strong. He is fast. And when he gets up front, it's hard to catch him.
Yeah, that number 11, I'm going to go with him too, Rick, because he has been on fire as of late. And he would love to steal away the West Coast Championship here tonight at Irwindale. This is going to be a battle. AJ Hamill, your points leader coming in tonight, marred back in 12th spot and actually just took over 11th in that number 18, trying to work his way forward. He knows what's on the line here for tonight.
He does. He's got some work to do, Chris, but I definitely don't want to count him out. I mean, I think if he can get around just a few more cars, it's a long race. We got 150 laps going on lap 6 right now, going on to 7. So there's plenty of time for the 18 to work his way up through. And I mean, he is a pro at these cars.
Yeah, he really
there's
is.
No question about it. He is a short track star. I mean, everybody here at Racing for a Cause that are out there right now racing, they're all known for their short track racing. And, Hamill, he's just got it figured out. I mean, he's had a couple of good weeks, and I think we're going to continue to see that. It's going to take him a little bit, I think, just to pick through the field, but he's going to do it. He's going to be calm, cool, collective, and just take those spots as they come to him.
Mark, no little pony car out there tonight. These guys racing for a cause. Each car has a cause on it. Sometimes you got to look for it, but it's there. And, man, these guys really pouring it on. I want to thank the TRJkarting.com Blazing Truck Series for stopping in tonight. Sam, Terry, Mark, I want to thank you guys for coming out tonight, enjoying a little Wednesday night action here at Irwindale Short Track Racing, where it's at. Gotta love the excitement that happens here on these short tracks tonight. These guys going for their West Coast Championship. They've got, for the first time this year, Rick, they've got the ability to pit one time and one time only. They can take 2 tires or 4, but that is it.
And I mean, that's kind of a special treat for these guys. I mean, 150 laps, you know that those tires are going to be garbage by the end. Normally here on a Wednesday night, these guys will not pit at all for tires. Andy and the admins over there, Racing for a Cause, have it all figured out how many laps they can run on a tank of fuel. But tonight, it's going to be kind of special now. I have a feeling that we might see a couple of drivers, not a lot, but a couple, who have done very well with old tires. But the problem is if they don't take them and they wait too long, those guys with the fresh tires are just going to go right by them. So it's going to be real interesting to see. I know there's a lot of drivers out there that even when we had the chance to pit for tires, they never did.
I can almost all but guarantee you, Rick, everybody here tonight at this track gonna want tires. No fast repairs, Terry. None at all. We don't believe in them here at Racing for a Cause. You run what you brung, and that is it. Brian Hacker doing a fabulous job. He's led all 13 laps so far. Chris Stump in 2nd spot. James McIntyre Jr. in that 81 is under a little bit of a challenge. The 17 of AJ Rogers taking over 3rd spot. And Rogers doing it on the inside. Rick, we haven't seen that pretty much all night long. Maybe during Heat Race 3 we saw it a little bit, but that inside line not really known to go. And we are under caution for the first time tonight. It looks like it is the 413, possibly, of Wayne McDuff the third. We're going to go back, take a peek, see if that was the case or not. We go back in, it's the 413. He's to the outside. Sam, it is a fixed set. Truly is a run what you brung. No modifications on this set at all, except for maybe fuel. Oh, the 87. Vermont's own Ryan Nolan may have tapped the corner. One very cool thing they do here, Rick, and we've talked about it a little bit, but these guys need to claim their incidents. If they claim it, they get an EOL. If they don't, it goes to the driver's council, and oh man, bad things happen there. So we'll see if the 87 of Ryan Nolan takes credit for that one or not. Meanwhile,
that's kind of the cool thing, Chris. I mean, when me and Andy started Racing for a Cause, we didn't know what we were doing, man. We wanted to go out there and race. And we learn season after season. We try to figure it out. And right now, I think this is the best rule set that these guys have had. Andy kind of leaves it open, per se. Like you said, no fast repairs. That's something that we brought in because guys were just, they would drive like crazy. They would get into an accident. They knew that they had a fast repair, or I think at one point we actually had 3, and we decided to take those away. We did some incident, limits. That really didn't work, but what did work was, and these guys are all competitors, dude. I mean, these guys aren't just going, okay, whatever, I didn't make it this week, whatever. These guys, no, they're crazy, and a good crazy.
Yeah.
So that's worked really well. Ooh, Andrew Hill. Why am I showing that he's disconnected? But yeah, he's still okay.
Yeah, I saw that during the heat race too, actually, but he's still out there. Ryan Nolan comes down pit road, so the 87 kind of penalizes himself. He knew he was going to take that EOL, and he's going to drop to the end of the field. That's a great rule set. Ladies and gentlemen, if you love racing, since we have all these guys here from Blazing Pedals, tune in this Sunday night. It's going to be Michigan. It's going to be their final race of the season. And it's been a long season, but it's going to be their final race of the season. Rick and I may have had a little bit to do with the track selection there. And I promise you, this Sunday night, if you like truck racing at all, you have to tune in right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Check out that TRJ karting.com Blazing Pedals Truck Series. Those guys are fantastic. I love each and every one of them. And guys, I want to thank you once again for stopping in on a Wednesday night. It means a lot.
Yeah, it does, man. And I don't want to wish away the week and the weekend, but man, I can't wait till Sunday night. Awesome.
I get that completely, man. It's going to be a hell of a race. And yeah, Terry, you're right. This Sunday night, special guest up in the booth, going to be Terry Foster right there out of chat. He's going to be joining us. He's got some special plans. I've got some special plans. We're going to see if we can all make it all meld together. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait for Michigan. And we are back under the green. Brian Hacker takes advantage of that leader's advantage, and he is gone. The 17 of AJ Rogers trying to hold on. You said Stump. We're under caution once again. Chris Stump. Oh boy. Something happened bad. We're watching the 98, see if we can pick it out. Oh, 98 gets loose, goes sideways, and the rest of the field just goes right by him. So Chris Stump to the end of the field. Brian Hacker, your race leader. He has led 23 laps. He's doing a great job here tonight. AJ Rogers in second. James McIntyre Jr. in third. Travis Wright in the 10. Running in fourth. Cool paint job on that 10. I like where he put that number 10 on the rear quarter panel. Andy Lambert holding on the 5th spot in that number 72. That's series admin. Mark, we're going to talk to you about that a little later on. Don't break your heart yet, bud. Back under the green flag we go, and Brian Hacker, still your race leader, the 17 of AJ Rogers, trying to put on a challenge to the inside. And I don't know that the track is ready quite yet for that, Rick.
Yeah, with only 27 laps down so far, Chris, give it about another 40 or so.
Yeah, I think you might be right there.
And then you're going to be good.
A little further back in the field. Let's take a look at your points leader coming into tonight. It's AJ Hamill. He is up to 7th spot. He's got the 72 of Andy Lambert right underneath him. Lambert trying to hold on that inside, but we've already seen that is it's a no-win right now for that inside line. The 72 doing everything he can, but Andy Lambert under the pressure. Tonight's sponsor, Al Smith Jr. and the 96 looking to try and maybe take a spot away from Andy. And Lambert now falling positions. You got to get back up to that top side line, and that's not something we're used to saying here on a short track, Rick.
No, usually it's the inside lanes, the king, and not here tonight though. At Irwindale, man, these guys, they got that top lane figured out. I mean, the way that Al Smith was talking about it during the beginning of the broadcast there when we brought him up to talk about a sponsor, you know, he was almost like kind of saying that was the danger zone. Maybe he was trying to psych some people out, but I don't think these guys fell for it.
Oh, he is a crafty veteran, isn't he?
Well, you know, when you spend that much time behind bars. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys. He is a great guy. You know, instantly, dude. So, like you said, and I can't believe that it was already last year, Chris. I mean, this summer flew by. We didn't even get a chance. I didn't get a chance to go down the Thunder Road at all this year. I don't know if you got a race in or two, but
I got one.
You got one.
I got one in.
That's one more than me, but man. So last year, you guys, we met with those guys. Now, listen, if you guys are looking for any kind of NASCAR type stuff league, and you want to race on a Sunday night on a weekend, definitely look up Blazing Pedals. I know there might be some changes there for next season. We're going to find that out on Sunday. If you can't do Sundays and maybe Mondays work, look at the National Speed Association. Those guys are having a good time over there. Short track racing.
Caution on
caution.
track.
I'm going to finish. Okay. I know what you want to do. We got plenty of time. Go ahead.
May Ben and Chris Stump once again. We're going to go back and take a peek. We're going to have to go back a little further. The 98, Chris Stump definitely was involved in this one. And wait until you see what happened. Doug Wasaki in the 45. Mr. Calm, cool and collected. Cleanest driver I know on the service. And he is down on the inside fighting for everything he can. The 45 down on the inside. The 98 of Chris Stump was trying to work his way forward. The 22 has a big blink, and the 45 just comes up into the back of the 98 and sends him down pit road. I can guarantee you one thing. There is one guy on the track right now that absolutely can't stand himself, and that is Doug Wasaki.
And I guarantee during the, he's chatting and he is apologizing like crazy right now. That is not,
it's just not him.
Nope.
No, it's not him at all.
I mean, what can you do though? I mean, that's just the kind of thing that just happens.
That's it. Robbins racing, but a bump in a short track will send you around.
Yes, it definitely will. Don't I know that? That's why usually I'm about 25 laps down, even though we're only on lap 37. So actually, I'm going to be 40 laps down already, and we're only on lap 37. And Chris has passed me at least 68 times.
Mar Racing, what is going on, my friend? How are you, buddy?
Good old Ty Morosco out there. Good to see you, buddy. So listen, Upstate Racing League, you guys look those up if you like very good short track racing. Of course, Wednesday nights here, Racing for a Cause. I mean, there's a lot of leagues out there on iRacing. There's definitely two that I could say that I would love to be a part of, and one of them obviously is going to be Racing for a Cause, since I had to start in founding the league. Blazing Pedals is definitely another one. NSA is fun, but they got some really, really, really tough competition there. So,
boy, I guess so. The 24, man, he is tough. Dalton Tucker.
Got the Napa know-how.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, he does. It's amazing, Rick, that by number, by name, almost by paint, mostly, we can go through the leagues that we really, really love and just know who the heck we're talking about.
Yeah.
Pace car on pit road, getting set to send these super late models back under the green flag. The 11 has control of the field, and he takes off, Rick. He doesn't wait. The green flag is out, and we are back racing loud and proud.
Hacker just dominating here tonight, Chris. He's led all but one lap. Ryan Nolan led one lap so far. The other 38, almost 39, belong to that man right there in the 11, but he's got some pressure there on the inside by the 17 of AJ Rogers. Rogers has been working that bottom lane, even in the heat race, so he's got something almost figured out, I think.
AJ Rogers, a tough competitor, just hasn't run the full first half of the season. And again, I want to talk about how we're doing this. So we're doing a West Coast, East Coast swing. First half of the season, all West Coast tracks. Second half of the season will be all East Coast tracks. We're going to take next week off and get set for that, as all these guys have to load into their haulers and get across the country. But man, what a cool setup. Very, very interesting. I think it's the first time I've seen this setup in iRacing altogether, Rick, and Andy is making it work.
Well, you know, Andy's taking into, you know, a little consideration for the drivers. Oh, we're under caution. We'll go through that first.
Oh man, I think there might be a couple of cars involved with this one. We're gonna focus in on the 38 of Hilton Young, and we're gonna come right back into instant replay. The 38 of Hilton Young already with a little bit of damage on that front end. I say a little bit. He's actually damaged pretty good. That JDRF machine trying to work his way around the track. Okay, it was not him. We're going to go up to Doug Wasaki, I believe. 45 may have unfortunately been involved again. The one of James Somke down on the inside. The 45, Doug Wasaki to the outside. Heading into turns 1 and 2.
I'm also seeing the 413, maybe, Chris?
All right, yeah, I'm going to have to go to him. That's Wayne McDuff, the third. Oh, yeah, okay. We're going to go back and see what happened to him.
Like him and Ryan Nolan, maybe.
Yeah, Wayne McDuff, the third. Running kind of just shy of that top line. The 87 of Ryan Nolan. Decides he's going to go down to the inside. Oh, and in the 413, I think he came down on the 87. Oh, the 22 gets into the 413. That's Mike Holtzclaw in the 22. And we are under caution once again. This is part of the battle, Rick. You start a field so big on a short track, you're going to start seeing a little bit more of these cautions. Ryan Newman of BPL. I love it, man. I love it. Oh God, you guys are great.
We love you guys. You guys are awesome. But anyway, back to what I was saying, Chris. So, you know, Andy took into consideration now, any league that is anybody who has been running for quite a few seasons knows that obviously the guys want to race long seasons. That's what it's all about. You know, I mean, you always see like the NASCAR guys, you know, the ones who are always like, okay, we're going to do the full cup schedule, race by race, week by week. And whenever NASCAR runs in real life, we're running during the week. Now, you know that when you start out that way, you know, you always start out with a good number of drivers, and then they start falling off throughout the end of the season. Now, what Andy did is he knows that there's a lot of drivers that can't commit to a full 10 to 12 week season. So he broke it up 5 and 5. Let these guys do their thing. And, you know, essentially we're going to have 3 champions. We're going to have the West Coast champion, the East Coast champion, and the overall champion. So that's going to be interesting how all that works out.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's very interesting. I'm excited to see how this format works out for Andy and the rest of Racing for a Cause, because I think it's different. It's interesting, and it gives drivers something to fight for.
I mean, there's one thing that I want to
do. Watching chat. This is too good, guys. Keep it up. I love it.
Yeah, listen, I'm a fat guy too, so I don't take offense to that, Mark.
Yeah, I'm a fat drunk guy, so you know it's all working out.
Hey, listen, baby, it is hump day. We had a crazy day at work, and now we're having a crazy night, man. Caution's breeding cautions here.
Caution, breeding caution. My goodness.
Ooh, the 44 Frabbert. Oh. Yeah, he's on all 4 wheels.
All right, let's go back and take a peek.
Ooh, Blankenship cars barbecue.
44 down to the inside, trying to get around the 87. Vermont's own Ryan Nolman. Nolman. I'm just gonna make up names for the rest of the night. Oh, the 51 and the 44 get together hard. The 51 goes around and upside down. The 44 on his side. Oh lordy. And then
You know, watching Faber though was kind of interesting. I mean, he actually put the 51 into the wall, literally. After that car was in the wall there.
Yeah.
And then he just does the wall ride. Now, I've heard about wall riding before, and I don't think that's how it's done.
Hey Rick, why don't we do this? We're gonna go into the cockpit view. We're gonna watch this thing happen right out of the 44. Oh, yeah, okay, we're on the side. Yep, trying to hold on. Okay, wiggle that steering wheel just a little bit. Can't. Okay, then he blinks. I'm not fat, I'm big bone. That's what I learned. I learned it good. Brian Hacker, he is unbelievable. He has led 52 laps so far. Remember, Hacker, just 4 points behind your points leader coming into tonight, AJ Hamill. Each position, 1 point. AJ Hamill is your points leader coming into tonight. Rick, he is running in 5th spot right now. This thing is locked dead tight. Too many donuts. Oh man, donuts are not my thing. Carbs. I want bread. I want good bread with good cheese. And right now I am on a pepper jack kick, man. I want pepper jack every day.
Last week it was Colby. This week is pepper jack. Me, I got some sharp cheddar.
I haven't had any of that yet. I'm gonna have to have that tomorrow.
If there's any left, I don't know. I'm already feeling hungry for tomorrow.
Listen, when you get home 35 minutes before the race is gonna start, you know you've had a busy day. And Rick, I'm gonna not lie to you, brother. These malt beverages going down really well tonight.
My beautiful wife, as soon as I got home, she had one in a glass for me.
I love
Even
that.
unlaced my boots and took them off for me.
I love
She did
your
not
wife.
want to deal. She did not want to deal with my stinky socks. I don't blame her.
Pace car dropping off onto pit road. Brian Hacker in the 11 to the inside. AJ Rogers on his outside in the 17. James McIntyre Jr. in the 81 third. 10th, the 10 car. Travis Wright in 4th. And we are back under the green flag. And Brian Hacker taking advantage of that leader's advantage, Rick. And he is gone once again. AJ Rogers staying up on that top side lane. That is the quick way around this track, believe it or not. A short track with the top lane being the fast way around. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's even getting, I mean, the rubber's getting laid down now. So that's definitely helping. The other thing that's helping, Chris, is that track temperature dropped down to 71 degrees.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that for race conditions. Oh, AJ Rogers gets a little tight, rubs into the wall. May have scrubbed a little bit of speed, may give him enough opportunity for the 81 of James McIntyre to catch him, but no, Rogers so quick here tonight. This guy is fast, and you know, the other thing, and let's talk about it just a little bit, Rick, on Facebook. I don't know if he's still doing, I haven't seen any posts lately, but it may just be the way Facebook works. But if you guys are in the market for some used sim equipment, man, AJ Rogers does it by random.org. You guys go in, you pay a certain fee per item, and what a great service. He is definitely spreading the love there. I know guys that have gotten Fantech steering wheels. I know guys that have gotten VR headsets, all from AJ Rogers at a fraction of the price.
Yeah, you know, I haven't really seen, I mean, I am still on there. I'm just looking here real quick to see when the last one, it might have slowed down a little bit. I mean, obviously, you know, guys need to upgrade and donate their stuff, and it is really cool. If you guys are interested in following, we'll have to talk to AJ, because he's a great person, number one. I mean, he's helped a lot of people out. But if you go to Facebook and search The Hub, use sim giveaways, you can join there to keep up with things. And I know, I mean, Mr. Rogers, he's been very busy, and he's definitely been asking. About 11 weeks ago, he goes, "This all died, but would you all like to see it back up again?" And I think that's going to happen. I mean, it was really cool. Actually, two of our good friends actually won a couple of things there. Rick Greenaway here at Racing for a Cause, and Troy Radford also does some good stuff. So really cool. So if you guys ever feel a little generous, maybe, I guess I could say. I mean, obviously you're gonna get some money for it, but maybe not as much as you think you can get for it. But talk with AJ Rogers and donate a little bit and have some fun with it.
Yeah, I think the seller usually comes out okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the 11 getting very tight, riding that wall.
That's one thing that I was going to talk about a little later here, Chris. I mean, Hacker has been leading this thing now for 65 laps, okay? And what's going to happen? I mean, he's getting a little pressure from AJ Rogers, but not tons. So he's got to try to keep his focus. I mean, he's definitely looking in that rear view. But when he sees the 17 in line and these guys are just running their laps, doing what they have to do, it's very easy to lose focus. I think that might have been what happened there.
Share the stream. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. And meanwhile, let's talk about this number 18, because out of nowhere, look at AJ Hamel. Man, he is trying to defend that West Coast championship. He is up to 4th place already, and that is good enough to hold on to 1st place by just a skosh, Rick. Just a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's going to be really, really close. I mean, I was going to mention that right before that last caution came out, because he was working his way up. He was in the top 5 at that time. Now he's sitting in 4th. So AJ, the Green Mountain Madman Hamel, started here tonight in 15th position. Worked his way through. Now I told you that I don't want to count him out. I mean, Hacker, is somebody who I think is probably going to win. But if Hamel can get up there, we're in for a really good finish here.
Yeah, it's going to be something spectacular to watch out for. And Rick, we're almost halfway through this race. Nobody's come. Well, man, a couple of guys have come down for pit stops. Looks like Chris Stump has stopped. He's worked his way back up to 11th after being marred back in the field a little bit. But
yeah,
a lot of the lead
came down, but yeah,
the lead traffic hasn't come down pit road yet, and they may choose not to. Although right now, Brian Hacker's got his hands full on the number 11, because he has just ran the wall around that corner. These cars getting very tight as these tires wear down.
And this is something that I kind of talked about. Now, Ryan Nolan did come down pit road, Chris, but he didn't do a service. He just knew that he was going to get an EOL. He was taking blame for that caution. And so he came down, put himself at the end of the line. And so there was no service done there by the 87. Now, 87 is one of those guys that I know who sits there and he loves the old tires, man. He will just go and go and go.
Yep.
I think these guys have to come down pit road, and I think it's really going to be Hacker who's going to lead them down. Hacker's going to finally say, okay, enough's enough. And I think a couple guys may follow him, because like I said before, if let's just say Hacker comes down by himself, everybody else there that stays out is going to have to make the choice to come down pit road, because if they don't, Hacker on new tires, he's just going to blow this field away.
Now, right now, he's got the fastest lap on track at 17.142, way back on lap number 2.
Yeah.
But Brian really is getting around this track very well. Even on these old tires, the CS17 kind of rub into the wall a little bit. It's amazing the focus that he has had the last couple of weeks. We've talked to him the last couple of weeks because he's finished well enough to be there, and man, the points are really showing it. Just 4 points behind AJ Hamel, your current 4th place runner in the point standings coming into tonight.
We talked about it earlier too, Chris. I mean, all these guys have a cause somewhere on their car. One thing that I loved about when Brian Hacker came on, the first thing he said is, guys, it's been very cool to get the Beagle Freedom Project the recognition that they deserve. And then he went right off and he just started naming a bunch of drivers. I mean, these guys, the amount of respect that they have for each other on the track, this is something that has been going on. How long has been Racing for a Cause going on? What, 4 years now?
4 years, yeah.
And I mean, that's just crazy, because it seems like it was just a couple years ago, but 4 years have flown by, man.
I know. It's been nuts. And the growth.
And I mean, the amazing thing about it, I mean, it's kind of like Blazing Pedals too. Season after season, Chris, we see some new names pop in, just like we do here at Racing for a Cause. You got Enrique Torres out there, Tomke, he's new. Roger came on, Olskala, Frabert, and pretty much everybody else we really know. Allman and Papini, who didn't start the race here tonight. But everybody else, Travis Wright, he's another new one. But other than that, we've known these guys for a bunch of seasons, man. It's just amazing.
Yep.
And it's cool. I mean, you and I, we started racing for a cause. We brought Andy on once I got him talked into getting away from NASCAR racing 2003 and spending a little bit of money, just like I did with you with iRacing. I got my two best friends there racing with me, and we decided that, you know, official wasn't good for us and we wanted to do something special. And, you know, Chris always asking me when I learned how to paint, not very good, but I did paint some cars for us. And he's like, dude, I want JDRF. And I was like, okay, well, I'm racing for the MS Society, for my aunt and uncle. So it just started there, and we talked with Andy. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna do Children's Miracle Network, and that was it, man. And we started this thing with 9 cars on the track our first season, and now just look at it. I mean, 25 guys showed up here tonight. A couple weeks ago, it was over 34, I believe it was. We actually had to send some people home.
Yeah, it's been incredibly good.
And I mean, this is just one division that these guys have. I mean, also on Tuesday nights here on Turn 3 Racing Network with the great KR Stolpus. You know, he's got, you know, Troy Bradford and Greenie's stuff that's going on there with the NASCAR. I mean, we've tried everything. We've done a little bit of dirt. We did, you know, we always stuck with the short track, at least on Wednesday night. And that's just been amazing. I mean, the growth in the league on both ends. I mean, Troy, Greenie, Andy, they've all done a fabulous job continuing on what, you know, you and I helped start. And I know, you know, I speak for you too. They made us proud. And just keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Rick, we are 62 laps from the end of this one. Why don't we go ahead and go right through the field here. I'm going to bring up the driver's bar so you can see how it all is kind of unfolding. You got on top the 11 of Brian Hacker. Hacker doing a great job. He started second tonight. He has led 87 laps here so far. AJ Rogers started in 5th place, worked his way up to 2nd spot. James McIntyre Jr., he started in 3rd, dropped down to 5th, but has worked his way back up to 3rd. The 81 doing a good job. AJ Hamill, my goodness, look at this. Started in 15th spot, has worked his way up into 4th spot. A little bit of pressure right now out of the 10 of Travis Wright, who started in 7th spot tonight. Right now, Wright running in 5th position. Al Smith Jr., tonight's sponsor. And if you haven't yet, make sure you check that out. osearch.org. Pretty cool stuff. He started in 12th spot tonight. He dropped down to 14th at one point, Rick, but he has made his way back up to the 6th position. So a good run out of that Ford Mustang. Rex Hoyle in the 54. Started in 6th, dropped down to 8th. And now running in 7th spot after a high of 5th. Andy Lambert started in 8th position, currently running in 8th position, but he had dropped down to 10th and he had been in the top 5. Enrique Torres started 14th spot tonight, and Torres having a hell of a race here tonight, and his number 76. Torres running in 9th position. Chris Stump, he brought out the first caution of the night. He started in 1st spot. He was the pole sitter for tonight's race. Dropped all the way back to 23rd. And now finds himself in the top 10, running in 10th spot. Matthew Spink's been very quiet tonight, but the 35 has made his way forward. Started 16th and right now running in 11th position after having a high spot in the top 10. Vermont's own, the 87 of Ryan Nolan. Nolan running in 12th position right now after having a low spot of 23rd. He is under the gun right now from the number 8 of Matt Vadi. Vadi, who was so dominant last season, hasn't really found his grip yet so far this year. And Vadi right now running in 13th spot, putting a battle on Ryan Nolan for 12th. Zach Cold Beer Coyer running in 14th position. James Somke in the 1 running in 15th. Roger Holtzclaw in the 23 running in 16th position. Justin Rigsby, who I kind of expected to have a really good night here tonight, started 13th, his lowest 23rd, his highest 13th, and right now sitting in that 17th position. Mark Farvert, he is sitting in 18th position. Doug Wasaki in the 45 running in 19th position. Hilton Young in that beautiful JDRF paint job, running in 20th position. He's 1 lap down. Mike Holtzclaw in the 22, 2 laps down in 21st. Then you've got Dylan Blankenship. He's on pit road right now, and Wayne McDuff III on pit road as well. And that takes us right through the field, Rick.
Right through the field. And as we started going through there, I mean, the 17 still trying to do everything that he possibly can to find his way around Hacker, but has not been able to do it yet. Hacker, man, once that car gets out front, he is fast. There's no question about it whatsoever, Chris. I mean, Roger's been working on that inside, trying to find that speed that he can do just to get around him. It's just not happening. Ooh, caps the wall just a little bit, scrubs a little bit of speed, but he's okay. McIntyre doing a good job there in that 81. So all these guys, I mean, right now the 18, he's trying to find a way around the 81. Chris, I mean, 49 laps left to go. That's no time whatsoever. I mean, the laps tick off so quick here. These guys, it's go time.
It is.
And we haven't seen people come down for tires yet. That's just the amazing part.
I don't know how they've done this, Rick. Over 50 miles they've driven. Yeah, this is crazy.
You know, maybe Andy's keeping that in his back pocket. He's gonna come down and get some fresh tires and just start blowing people away, and they're gonna be like, wait a minute, what? Where'd he come from?
I hate to see anybody come down pit road if they don't need to, because you are going to go down some laps here.
Yes.
At least 1, maybe 2. It's just a half a mile track. You come down pit road and everybody else under the green flag, and it's not going to be a good night for you. And here we are, Rick, just 45 laps to go. And Brian Hacker, he is just putting on a hell of a show, but it may not be enough. He's 4 points behind AJ Hamill, and we can't talk about this enough. This is huge points implication here. Brian Hacker can win tonight, but right now AJ Hamill, sitting in 4th spot, still has the points to take away the championship for the West Coast.
Now, I haven't had a chance to check Dan Lisa yet, because usually Andy's pretty good about posting them so quick, so I don't even think about it, Chris. But I'm guessing there's going to be bonus points, though. So, I mean, if you think about it, Hacker's going to get lap lead.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if he does finish most laps led, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be tight. This West Coast division has been tight all season long, and here these guys are just 3 spots differential, with a 4-point differential coming into tonight in the point standings. And Rick, I'm not sure exactly who is going to win the championship for the West Coast yet.
It's going to be close, very close.
No, Brian Hacker is still your race leader, and man, he is doing everything he can to hold on to it. AJ Hamill has kind of settled in the 4th spot, and that's about where he's going to want to finish. That 3 points. Man, he would really like to catch James McIntyre, I think, Rick, because if it's only a 1-point bonus for leading the most laps, we could have a tie here.
Well, that could be interesting.
Oh man, this is going to be.
And we should have a 200 lap shootout with just the two top drivers to let them go.
Caution on the track. Oh no, the 35. That's Matthew Spinks. We're going to go back.
I think you just wanted to look at that West Coast Chopper sign. That's one of the reasons why I love this track.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Jesse James, baby.
Matthew Spinks to the inside. The 87 to his outside. That's Ryan Nolan. Those two make contact. The 35 into that outside retaining wall. Not a huge amount of damage there, but enough. And certainly enough to bring out the caution. Rick, deep into this race. $37 laps to go, and we are under caution.
I mean, boys, if you want tires and you're listening and Andy didn't tell you, I would say you're under caution. Go for it. Now, you know, Chris, like a couple of things that are going to be kind of interesting. So, as we know, we're on the West Coast. Okay, so this is race number 5. Okay, Irwindale's probably, well, besides Irwindale and the Bull Ring, the tracks that these guys have been on have been interesting. We started the season back on September 25th, ISM, aka for you, Phoenix. Then they went to Iowa, and then they also had the Milwaukee Mile. So while those are all technically short tracks, not something that these guys are used to racing on. You know, usually they're on Lanier, New Smyrna, you know, South Boston, stuff like that. Now that's going to be the interesting part, because when we go over to the East Coast, we're going to be over at USA International Speedway. Then they're heading to Lanier, New Smyrna, South Boston, and then finishing out the season at Five Flags. So that's going to be a little interesting too, on how that works out.
Yeah, and then of course you take the point standings from the West Coast and the point standings from the East Coast, and you combine them all together and come up with a series champion. Very cool. I mean, it's just different.
Yeah, Andy wants to crunch some numbers, and I think he's going to be able to do it. He's going to have fun with that, though.
Listen, I want to go ahead and thank everybody for coming out here on a Wednesday night. It's late, you know, it's about 10:15, and I appreciate it. Rick appreciates it. We here at Turn 3 Racing Network appreciate it. You guys are the backbone of what we do here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Thank you very much for coming out as the pace car drops down. Brian Hacker to the inside, trying to hold on to that race lead. He's had 116 laps led here tonight, and the 11 looking so strong. He takes advantage once again, Rick, of that.
With a 17.
Oh, no.
He's okay, but Hacker just blew the doors off of him, and it kind of like stacked up the field a little bit.
Yeah, but Rogers fighting back really hard on that outside. And here comes AJ Hamill. Hamill looking on that outside too. James McIntyre finding himself where he doesn't want to be, Rick. He's on the inside, that outside lane, so much quicker. But McIntyre,
I thought we might have seen some 3 wide. I mean, Hamill's kind of peaking right now.
Well, we've already seen once tonight, 3 wide doesn't really work here at Irwindale. But that may not stop these guys from trying here as the laps are winding down.
Especially these 3 guys, Chris. Very strong competitors, very clean drivers.
Mark, please tell me you're not still working. It's way too late in the night to just be driving, brother.
I mean, we put in a long day, but that is just... Oh.
Terry, too. Oh my gosh, you guys.
And Terry's one of them crazy guys who likes that third shift stuff.
I think we both worked first and second shift or something like that tonight. Pretty damn close.
Pretty damn close. I wouldn't really call it work, though. It was a lot more fun than anything.
Yeah, it was fun. Rick and I actually got a chance to race a little bit in real life here tonight. I took him on the inside going into turn number 1. And I don't know if he's ever going to forgive me for that one, but listen, I had a Kia Soul and I had to put the foot down. I think that was a Kia. Yeah, it was a Kia. I was surprised that it actually held that corner at a 65. I didn't know that it was going to. I was a little worried going into that corner, I'm not going to lie. But the damn thing held, and I was impressed.
Now, I just want to make a mental note for you. So, you know the shortcut that I took on Dumont Ave?
Yeah, I took it.
Yeah, well, I'm one of the reasons why that little island is there when you first turn in, and the speed bumps and tables from when I worked with Budget Rent-A-Car back in the day.
Yeah.
And if we're not careful, we might have some of those on our road soon. So I gotta ask, Mark. So I heard that you got a rift over to Mr. Baumgarten over there. What did you pick up for new?
Yeah, you can't go from one not into another, because I'll tell you, when I had the 3-screen setup, that was something else. That was great. But when I went into VR, oh my God, the world changed for me incredibly here on the services. We are under caution once again. Looks like the 76 Enrique Torres having a little bit of an issue. We're going to go back and find out what happened. Torres taking the corner. He's got the 98 of Chris Stump behind him.
That was kind of weird. Trying to find the right.
Oh, a little bit of contact, perhaps. Stump may have gotten a little tight. And the 76 finds the break in the wall and collects himself in. Unfortunate for the 76. Not a lot of damage, though, Rick. He's going to be able to continue on, but drops down into 16th spot.
A couple other drivers got into it a little bit. The one of Somke and the 23 of Roger Holzclaw there also both able to keep their cars going the right way. Mark, so did you get a new VR? Is that why you sold the Rift?
And if you did, I want to know which one you got. Kind of on the fence, thinking maybe, just maybe, I might want to get a different VR than I have now. But I got to be honest, if I'm not driving, I don't know what I'm going to use it for. I do have a couple of other...
It will be.
Yeah, I've got a couple of other games. I really like that Star Trek game. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, but this racing stuff's not a game. It's a simulator.
Well, I mean...
And I know you have a normal desk now, but
yeah,
you know, I have in my possession. All I'm gonna say, it's been here for almost a year. So if you let's see,
Brent Witz, thank you for the subscribe.
Yes, thank you. Welcome to the Turn 3 Racing Network.
So yeah, you have. I know what you have, Rick, because it came out of my house.
So at $56 a day,
my Ubuntu coming back to me would cost roughly a shit ton of money. Pardon my French.
Well, I could bring it back to you at work, so that's going to be free. But somebody owes me about $18,250. is what I'm looking at right now for storage fees.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and charge Andy for that? You got the Rift S. Okay. So I've been looking a little bit at the S, and what's the other one I was looking at, Rick? I can't even think right now. So focused on the race. Pace car drops down. Cars heading into turns 3 and 4, and Brian Hacker once again has that leader's advantage. Brian Hacker waiting. He ends up hitting that loud pedal, and we are going to go back under the green flag. What's the other one? Oh, the Quest? Is that it?
It might have been the Rift Quest,
yeah.
I think.
What they're doing with that thing
now, yeah.
Yeah, that thing is going to be amazing. Not the same quality as the S, but what you're able to do with it seems to be like that's the one they're pushing.
Oh, under caution once again.
Caution on the track. Looks like it may be Enrique Torres and the 35.
The 23 was involved a little bit too, it looks like.
Let's go back and take a peek. Not what you want to see with less than 20 laps to go, I'll tell you that. They had one riding the wall. That was the one car, and the 96 gets into him just a little bit. The one stacks him up. The 76 and the 23 get together. The 76 comes up into the 35 of Matthew Spinks. So Torres involved in 2 in a row. As those tires really starting to fade, and the guys out back not liking it. We go back live because, Rick, we've only got 14 laps to go, and I am still not entirely sure how this is all going to shape up. Brian Hacker,
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Hacker's led the most laps here with 135, but he comes into tonight's race 4 points behind AJ Hamill. AJ Hamill right now running in 4th place. Oh boy. Looks like one way or another, Rick, we're going to be talking to Andy Lambert here before the end of the night to try and figure out who the heck is the West Coast champion.
I bet he's already crunching numbers. Now that I told him how much he owes me for storage fees, he's really crunching those numbers.
Yeah, carry the one. Well, Brian Hacker's still going to be your race leader. He's got a couple of cars behind him that are going to pass the pace car when the lights go out. That's the 35 of Spinks and the 76 of Torres. And that'll clear the way for Brian Hacker. And man, we're going to have not much time to go here. This little half-mile track has definitely put on some action here tonight.
Oh, it definitely has. And honestly, we're not used to this many cautions here for on a Wednesday night. I mean, these guys obviously they're pulling out all the stops, man. They're racing for a championship, even though the season's only halfway through as of right now. I mean, nobody's, it's go time, man.
Yeah, it is. And, Hacker is doing everything in his power to try and win this championship. He's led virtually every lap here tonight. The one lap that he hasn't been credited for leading, I believe, was kind of a glitch on iRacing's side when they had Ryan Nolan leading that lap. But Hacker has been absolutely incredible here tonight. And man, I don't know. This is going to be tight. We know it's going to be tight. And speaking of tight, these cars are lined up 2 by 2. Pace car on pit road, and the 11 has control of the field. He takes off. Green flag in the air. 9 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line.
And man, Hackers, I mean, number one, he's been dominating all race, Chris, obviously. 140 laps led so far. Only one other person has led a lap. That's Ryan Nolan. And the restarts, man, even on these old tires, Hacker has those restarts figured out right to the T.
Yeah, Brian Hacker doing a great job tonight. Will it be enough? We're going to find out here as AJ Hamill has worked his way into 3rd spot now, putting even more pressure on. How are the points going to break down? This is going to be amazing as we are under caution. You can tell it's getting close to the end. Chris Stump may have been involved. 98. Oh, we see him flipping back onto his tires. That can never be a good sign. The 98. Chris Stump, who normally one of the more solid drivers out here in the super late models. Oh, it wasn't his fault. Looks like the 8 got a little bit loose, and the 98 ends up on his roof. Linda, you might be right. And we are under caution one more time. It's going to be a quick caution. And the 8 of Chris Stump heading towards the back of the field. He hasn't had the first stretch of the season that he really wanted. And really, Rick, we're not accustomed to seeing him running like this. Perhaps the East Coast side of this schedule will play off a little bit better for the 98 of Chris Stump.
I mean, that's the thing that I'm finding kind of interesting, Chris. Like I talked about earlier, some of the tracks that they ran on here on the West Coast, it's not something that these guys are accustomed to. So it's going to be a little different there when we head back over to the East Coast, the good coast. And these guys are going to be on the tracks that they're used to normally running. And I think that's where you're right. I think that's where we might see Stump turning around a little bit. I mean, that's the coolest thing. These guys, it's not only one champion that we're crowning. I mean, these guys, we're going to have the West, we're going to have the East, and then we're going to have the overall. So it's still really anybody's game. Obviously, whoever comes out on top on the West has a little bit of a leeway, a lead towards everybody else going over to the East. But it's going to get interesting.
Yeah, it comes right back down to that format. So interesting to see. Two laps to go. Caution lights are still on that 2019 Ford Mustang, the official pace car here at Racing for a Cause and the Turn 3 Racing Network.
That's only because I told Andy to put it back on. He heard there after Monday when I got a chance to check out KR. broadcasting the OP Racing guys. I was like, man, Andy, we need to have the Mustang back so I can call it the Mustang. He did. He's a good friend. He listened.
Oh boy, we're on the final lap. Pace car lights are still on. This one is gonna be done, Rick.
Not the way that these guys really wanted to end it, but this is gonna get interesting.
Yeah, it's now time to start tallying up points, and
You know, Andy's already on it.
checkered flag in the air for the 11 of Brian Hacker, AJ Rogers, AJ Hamill finishing second and third, James McIntyre finishing in fourth, Travis Wright in the top 5. And man, what a finish to this one. What a race. Unbelievable. Brian Hacker leads 149 of the 150 laps. He did everything he could to try and win here tonight. And by win, of course, I mean the West Coast Championship. We're going to find out if it's going to be enough right after these messages. We're going to be right back here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. We're back live here at Irwindale Speedway. Let's go ahead and get the top 3 ready to go for their post-race interviews, and we have to figure out exactly how this one is going to end the West Coast Championship. But first, let's go ahead and talk to third place finisher here tonight, the number 18 of AJ Hamill. AJ, this is Chris and Rick up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
You just take the top 3 and put them back where they belong in front of the others.
That's what I would do too.
I would too. AJ, Chris, and Rick up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sirs.
Well,
That's good timing right there, huh?
It was, it was something.
You might notice there's a scoring snafu going on.
There is a little bit of a scoring snafu, but we know who the top 3 are, and we're going to take care of that on our end. But listen, man, a third place finish tonight, and maybe you know, maybe you don't. Was that enough to secure the win for the West Coast Championship tonight?
I do know.
You do.
It was not. The winner
was
gets
not.
the winner gets 5 bonus points.
Wow. What a
just,
huge turn of events for you.
I kind of knew when we gridded, or when the heats lined up, Brian got the draw. He got the outside row in the second heat, and this is a race where you want to start and win the second heat with the restart rules.
Yeah,
and that's you know, he drew the pill, and he did the job.
Yeah, he was up front basically all night long, and man, what a wicked race this was. The track didn't seem like it was all that friendly to you guys though tonight. However, you didn't have much of a problem getting up towards the front, finishing third tonight.
Oh, did it look easy?
No, never did actually. No.
No, you know, this track is a lot of working restarts and taking advantage of the opportunities when you get them. You got to get up on the wheel, inside or out, and do your best. And I was able to do that. Luckily, I've run a lot of laps here. And inside or out, I think I gained a spot on almost every restart. But once Chris went out, I didn't think there was much for Brian. AJ's certainly equal to him, but they're good buds. He's not going to push him too hard. Would have been nice to have my teammate up there to give him a run for it, but what can you do? I had the good draw the first 3 weeks, and he got it the last 2, and that win I didn't get at Iowa looks big right now.
Yep, absolutely. I was just thinking about that actually. But nonetheless, a third place finish tonight. You're still pretty solid as far as overall championship goes as we continue 2 weeks from tonight into the East Coast. How do you feel about that going into there?
Yeah, this probably swings him 3-4 points ahead. So not out of it. Still 5 races to go. Those tracks are not my favorite, but just like any track, we'll show up and work the restarts, and maybe I'll get a few draws back my way and see if I can catch him. What the hell was I going to say? I guess that was it for the East.
Well, why don't we light you up into one more final thing? Anybody on the 18 that you need to thank tonight?
Yeah, we got a new sponsor tonight. Different kind of orcas. This is the Center for Whale Research. I don't remember the address, so you have to Google it. This organization is dedicated to what's called the Pacific Northwest resident pod of orcas. There might be a few of them. They've got letters that go with them, JKL, something like that. And they primarily live in Puget Sound area, Seattle, Victoria, BC, up there. And they were one of the groups that was heavily, what's the word I want to, kidnapped, farmed, whatever word you want to use, by the SeaWorlds back in the 70s and early 60s. And they are low on numbers. I don't know, last count, 70, 80, something like that. Now they're having problems with government submarine and military exercises, and their fish supplies getting cut off. So these guys, Center for Whale Research, dedicated to helping that poor population out up there.
Well, that's a pretty damn good cause, bud. Rick threw up the www.whalesearch.com if anybody wants some further information. And AJ, congratulations once again, coming home third, and unfortunately just outside of that top spot here on the West Coast Series.
Yep, did all I could. 15th to third is still a good night overall, so we'll show up wherever we're going to be down in Florida in 2 weeks and see what happens.
Absolutely, but we'll see you then.
Congrats to Brian.
Perfect. AJ Hamill, driver of the number 18, and that leads us to the second place finisher, the driver of the number 17, and that is AJ Rogers. AJ, Chris and Rick up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Doing pretty well, bud. Listen, we don't see you out there very much, but when you're out there, man, are you running strong. That Ford Mustang looking good tonight, finishing in second spot.
Yeah, thank you. I had a lot of fun. I need to get back and get in the groove of running more with y'all. It was a blast.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch, bud. All night long, basically in second spot tonight. And it's this track, it's so tough to pass on, but you were there with Hacker for most of the night. Did you have a chance? Did you ever feel like, yeah, maybe I can get around him? Maybe I'm just a little bit faster?
Yeah, I felt like I was a little bit faster. I know he was holding back the first probably 120 laps, and I was trying to push him a little bit harder to get him out of his rhythm. But the only way to get around here is to pass on the outside. You just can't get any drive off the bottom to make a pass. Tried it a few times, and I didn't want to mess anybody up. I know I got into a little incident at the very first part of the race with Stump, and I did not mean that at all. It felt like it was just a racing deal, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was just a racing deal, if it's any consolation at all. But yeah, man, the 17 out there. Listen, we talked about you during the race. We talked about, the used sim equipment. Are you going to be getting back into that?
I'm hoping so. Trying to just feel things out. I had to get some things straight around with everything going on with me, but I'd like to get it back. I know Summerlin's doing a big thing with the 2.0, so check that out. That's a pretty awesome deal.
All right, and where would they check that out?
It's the Hub 2.0. It's on Facebook.
Perfect. AJ, anybody on the 17 that you need to thank tonight, bud?
Just my buddies, RBRC, Russell Brown. It's fun to have his letters on the back of my car, and the Jackson Strong on the back deck of my car. Boy, they got intact a while back. Just keep him in your mind, keep him in your prayers. He's going through a lot.
All right, AJ. I want to thank you once again and congratulations to the second place finish here tonight, man. Great run.
Thank you, buddy. Y'all have a good night.
All right, AJ. That was the driver of the number 17, AJ Rogers. And that leaves us with just one more guy to talk to, Rick. And man, what a race he had. It's the driver of the number 11. And we've gotten accustomed to talking about him a little bit lately. It's Brian Hacker. Brian, Chris, and Rick up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Hey guys, I've got you. How are you?
Hold on. It's not just Brian Hacker. It is the Western champion, Brian Hacker. Now, come on.
That's true. I was going to see if he knew. Brian, listen, bud, the 11 car on a freaking rail tonight. You led 148 laps officially. I believe it was more like all of them, but some scoring issues here through iRacing tonight. The 11, it was on a rail tonight. What were you thinking all night and all through that race?
Oh, this is probably the weirdest one I've ever had, to be completely honest with you. I think you guys know I live in Chicago. I'm actually sitting in a hotel room in Detroit right now running on a Wi-Fi hotspot. So it's something I've never done before, but I wanted to make sure that I at least showed up tonight to push AJ for all he was worth. And, we got a good draw on the heats finally, and I was able to win that and have a good starting spot and let it from there. I was trying to save as much as I could. AJ Rogers wasn't making it easy on me, and I was running honestly a little bit harder than I wanted to for a good chunk of the race. But I think by the end there we had enough, and it was a fun win. This is one I'll stick in my memory bank for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And first of all, the Bears. Second of all, crappy Lions. And third of all, man, it was a great race for you. You end up coming home as the West Coast champion. That's got to mean a lot going over to the East Coast.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. So I've kind of dabbled in RFC here and there and dabbled on the fixed side, here and there a little bit. But in the last probably 6 months or so, I really decided to take the fixed side of things a little more seriously. And, Al Smith and those guys kind of brought me on board, and the whole URL gang has kind of welcomed me in, as well as, the RFC guy. There's a lot of back and forth between the two leagues and a lot of shared drivers there, so it's kind of cool to be welcomed by those guys. And I've had to run hard all season, and it feels pretty good to know that when I put my mind to it, I can be one of the better ones out here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you've been showing it for the last few weeks, so congratulations on that. And it kind of leads me into the next one, Brian, on that number 11. Anybody you need to thank, bud?
Yeah, for sure. So been running Beagle Freedom Project all year, so gonna continue to rep them on the during the East Championship here in a couple weeks when that gets started, and hopefully I can run that one from the comfort of my own home. Don't have to do anything crazy like drag my rig 6 hours away, but thanks to those guys, thanks to Smith Racing Inc. and specifically Al Smith and Jimmy McIntyre and Mike Holtzclaw and Matt McLean, who's not here, but I know he runs sometimes here, sometimes in URL. So those guys, the Empire Racing team has been strong all season. They're strong every season. So kudos to them. Kudos to AJ. That was a fun battle that we had for the this Western Series Championship, and I know that he'll be right up there in the Eastern Championship too. Thanks to Racing for a Cause for putting this thing on. Andy does a lot for this league, and I think he and his cohort of admins are going to be working overtime tonight. And thanks to you guys for doing this. I know you guys are going to be done after this season, so looking forward to watching the rest of the broadcasts as we got 5 to go.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, man, and thank you again. Good luck going into the East Coast. I don't think there's anything else to say except for good luck. What a hell of a run you've had there the last few weeks, and man, you brought that 11 back from a bit of a distance, honestly, and ended up winning the West Coast Championship.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun, and you know damn well that I'm going to be there for the Eastern side as well.
Absolutely, Brian. Wouldn't have it any other way, brother. Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. Congrats. That was awesome, man.
Yeah, the driver of number 11, tonight's winner, Brian Hacker, and that wraps up the West Coast Championship event here for Racing for a Cause. 2 weeks from tonight, we go to the East Coast. We got to give them time to travel, and it's going to be a good finish to the season. I want to thank everybody else for coming out tonight. And remember, guys, if you love racing, this Sunday night, Blazing Pedals, TRJkarting.com Truck Series is going to be putting on their championship live right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network from Michigan. I cannot wait for that one, brother. And that is going to wrap it up here for tonight. Thank you all for coming out, spending a little time with us here on a Wednesday night. We will catch you next time.